Good day, my valuable viewers out there. This is Folahan Oyelekon. Today, I'm discussing Second Class Citizen by Buchi Emechita, Chapter 5, which is titled An Expensive Lesson. In Chapter 4, we discuss the movement of Ada and his children to the UK, as well as the ugly experiences that she met in the UK, about the accommodation and the relationship with the neighbors, as well as the problem of taking care of the children. In chapter 5, we are going to see whether she is able to overcome the problem or if she still encounter another problem. Let's continue. Chapter 5, An Expensive Lesson. One beautiful July morning, Ada finds it difficult to wake up due to tiredness and fatigue, which might be a result of the condition of their room. I worry about Titi and Vicky or her pregnancy. Francis and she hardly communicate well nowadays. She asks herself whether her decision of coming to the UK is right after all. She stands up reluctantly and looks at Francis, who is snoring. She feels like waking him and tells him how she feels, but knows that he will not take her seriously. She gets herself and the children dressed. That is, she dresses herself and also her children. It is the disturbance of the children while eating that wakes Francis. He protests being disturbed from sleeping. Ada then responds that she doesn't know why Vicky is crying. She then begs Francis to help take the children to Trudy because she feels so tired and already late. Francis lovingly accepts to do this. Ada then thinks of how uncaring her husband is, as he cannot even ask how she feels. She concludes that Francis is only good at giving her children. Ada leaves the house without cleaning the breakfast things and Vicky's dribbling bib. She leaves all for Francis to clean. Vicky is unusual this morning. Instead of telling her mother bye-bye as usual, he starts crying and grabs her skirt. Ada picks him up to pacify him, but Vicky holds on to her tightly. Ada sits down again, cuddles, and sings for Vicky. A reluctant bye-bye now comes. Ada's pay at work is only enough to settle their bills and some expenses, after which little amount is left. Ada has to manage herself, hence she finds it difficult to have lunch at work. She always takes a boiled egg and eats it with the coffee served in the library. At times, she gets bored with the egg and eats nothing. She feels pains in her stomach at times as a result of hunger. It is this kind of hunger that she feels today and decides to go for a walk. The girls in her place of work are already engrossed in their discussion, which is always about a happy marriage. One of them, named Cynthia, is already engaged and she's optimistic that her marriage will work well. Ada walks along Finkley Road, looking at restaurants on either side of the road. She thinks of Francis bringing her to the restaurant when he becomes a librarian. She later submits that Francis can never do that because of her belief that such places are for whites. She says that if she has money, she can just walk in there to be served. She later stops herself from such thoughts since she doesn't have money. Ada is attracted that afternoon by a fish cake that she starts salivating. She decides to go back to the library where she will have a drink and rest before resuming work and going home by 5. On getting back to the library, Cynthia and other co-workers deliver a message that Trudy called and that Vicky was very ill and she couldn't send him to the hospital because she was waiting for Ada to come home. Ada has that feeling while looking at the fish cake She feels that Vicky is in danger, but not dead. Mrs. Conrad drives Ada to Kensington. Mrs. Conrad drives Ada to Kensington station, and she runs to Trudy's house, where a small crowd gathers and an ambulance is waiting outside. She walks past them, including Titi, and goes straight to Trudy's sitting room. I think we remember Trudy. When Ada is encountered with taking care of their children, when Francis refused to take care of them for her, that's how she eventually finds uh, she eventually finds Trudy, who is taking care of the children for her. Ada makes Trudy wiping Vicky's face with a dirty rag soaked in dirty water, cooling its temperature as claimed by Trudy. A big bad doctor stands there watching. Francis and Ada's doctor, whom they register with, is too busy to come. Vicky lifts his hand and calls his mother when he sees her. Ada takes him from Trudy and holds him tightly. Neither the doctor nor Trudy can tell Ada what is wrong with Vicky. The doctor only tells Ada that she will know when they get to the hospital. Ada thinks about the ailment in her mind and concludes that Vicky has malaria, which any mother can cure, so there is no cause for alarm. She is further relieved when Vicky says bye-bye weekly when they are leaving for the hospital. The doctor also allays her fear that they will do their best on Vicky at Royal Free Hospital and that the ailment may not be malaria. Several thoughts go on in Ada's mind as they are going to the hospital. The thought of Vicky's cause of sickness and why they are being taken to that hospital occupy her mind. Is it because they are black or second-class citizen? She is pessimistic about their being taken to that hospital. She thinks that they may remove Vicky's organ to replace that of a white child since the hospital is free. So they are being taken to a free hospital. So that's is giving Ada a great concern. He's thinking of the reason behind being taken to a free hospital. At the hospital, the thought is still echoing in her mind that she reluctantly releases Vicky to the nurse. They take Ada to a room and give her a cup of sugary tea, which she gulps down hungrily without minding the sugar content because she doesn't like taking in too much sugar. Ada feels sleepy while waiting for the nurses to come around. She then remembers Titi and hopes Francis will remember to go for her. She also thinks of looking for Francis but concludes she will not want to disturb him and that she will tell him everything at home. The nurse and the two doctors come around and tell Ada that Vicky is very ill and are waiting for the results of the test carried out on him before treating him. Vicky is in an isolated room and Ada goes there to check on him. He stares at his mother when she enters the room. She observes that Vicky finds it difficult to move his eyes. Ada's belief about hospital is that it is a place you go either to born a baby or when somebody is about to die. This is based on her experience with the birth of Titi and her father, who went for a checkup and died in the hospital. Since the child is already allocated a room, she has little choice. The nurse comes in to tell her that it is time to go so that the boy can sleep. Ada tells him goodbye, but he cannot respond. Ada thinks in my mind why the hospital does not allow mothers to stay with their sick children like in Nigeria. She thinks of what happens if the child needs urgent attention, like having a confusion, as her children do. She decides to stay in the corridor. She dozes off on a wooden bench, and when she opens her eyes, she sees the same nurse that came to her in the hospital the other time. The nurse asks her whether Vicky is her only child. Ada answers that he is not, but the other one is a girl. This response from Ada makes the nurse tell Ada that a girl is a person just like Vicky. Ada understands but find it difficult to explain to the nurse that in a society, a male child is more highly rated than a female child. She explains further that her happiness depends greatly on her son being alive. The nurse insists that Ada should leave, but she responds that unless they use force on her, she will not go. She then goes to the corridor below. Francis later comes in the night, leaving Titi with Trudy to spend the night there. Francis does not even calm Ada down because she's not used to it. Instead, he also cries like a woman. 3 days later, Vicky is diagnosed as having meningitis. Ada gets more information about the disease in the library and wonders where Vicky got it from. She never heard of it in her family or Francis' family. Francis then responds that the boy will be cured in the hospital. Ada said that from what she read in the medical encyclopedia, his chances of surviving the illness are slim. She then vows to know where Vicky got it from. She says she will find out from Trudy. This surprises Francis and asks Ada what's happening to her. Ada threatens further that if anything happens to Vicky, she's going to kill Francis and Trudy. She accuses Francis of sleeping with Trudy and that they are spending her money together. That is Francis and Trudy. He's accusing him of sleeping with Trudy and also the money that she's giving to Trudy, the two of them are spending it together. Francis looks at Ada surprisingly because in his society, it is allowed for a married man to sleep apart with women if they want, especially the wife is nursing a baby. But in London, one can sleep with his wife all the time. He's not used to such a thing of life. He's not used to such a kind of life, though Ada says she doesn't mind. With her response now, she minds. Ada continues that she's going to Trudy to get the facts from her. Francis then warns that it is a crime to accuse somebody falsely and fire the person in her house in London. He also reminds her that Trudy is keeping Titi for them. Ada pauses a little and threatens to bring Titi home if Trudy does not give her a satisfactory answer. She is also not going to work until the children are admitted into nursery school, or Francis agrees to look after them without minding what his friends say. Francis compares Ada to her mother in troublemaking and says that trouble will teach her a lesson. Ada then leaves in anger. Ada is in Trudy's house, telling her that Vicky is diagnosed with meningitis and is on danger list. Trudy interrupts that she phoned the hospital and they told her the same thing. She says she told them that Ada brought Vicky to London a few months ago and that Vicky would have been caught from the water he drank back in Nigeria. Ada stares at Trudy and casts her mind back to the best treatment given to Vicky in the best ward under an efficient Swiss gynecologist during his death as part of the fringe benefits attached to working for the Americans. She's about to tell Trudy this when she sees Titi coming from the backyard very dirty like the other time. This is another difference from our lives in Nigeria and that of the UK. That is, she's trying to tell us what she experienced. What she enjoyed while giving birth to Vicky in Nigeria. I really lost control of the situation and the pictures of Vicky and Titi in the rubbish dump in Trudy's backyard the other time flashed back in her mind. She then sees Trudy as an enemy, insulting her country, family, herself, and the child. Ada angrily picks a carpet sweeper by the door and throws it towards Trudy, who dodges it. A neighbor of Trudy standing by the door holds Ada from the back and tells her not to do that. Ada is highly enraged that she's spitting, foaming in her mouth. The spitting foaming in her mouth. If it is in her tribe, she will have killed Trudy and other mothers will have supported her. But this is the land of law and order. She threatens Trudy that she will kill her or beg people to do it for her. She also accuses Trudy of sleeping with her husband. She breaks down crying and the other wife Other white women are shocked by the whole scenario. Ada is even more surprised by her neighbor as she is unable to control herself. Many things are going on in her mind that she cannot share with anybody because of the society she is. Everybody mind is her business, and if someone cannot bear the problem again, the person can commit suicide. Nobody to share ideas with except somebody like Miss Sterling, who will only listen to your story, agrees with it, and says nothing. Trudy looks indifferent and cannot say anything. Miss Sterling then says that they have gotten nursery places for Ada's children. Ada feels ashamed of herself and grieved too at the same time as her threats are empty. She does not apologize to Trudy because she believes Trudy is a liar. Trudy's name is removed from the approved childminders. She is scared of Ada's threats and leaves Maiden Road for Camden Town in case Vicky dies and Ada wants to locate her. In case Vicky dies and Ada wants to locate her to kill her as threatened. Remember, Ada is threatened to kill Trudy if Vicky dies. So that is why Trudy tries to relocate to Camden Town. So we see Ada has been experiencing many ugly scenes since her arrival in the UK. On the first day of her arrival in the UK, starting from the accommodation problem to the neighbors that are envying them because they are staying with their children. And also, Francis is also giving her problem that eventually he disagreed with Ada taking care of the children before they find Trudy. And Trudy now is now another problem. Ada is suspecting that Trudy is sleeping with her husband and they are spending her money together. So that's the end of this chapter. Let's meet in the next chapter. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please hit the subscription button so that anytime I release any of my videos, you will be notified. Thank you.